All right, everybody, Terrence Popp here with another episode of Live from the Lair. And today, we're going to be covering an article that comes from England in regards to a relationship expert. Of course, I know that's an oxymoron in today's day and age, but it is what it is. Now, this particular woman, let's just pull up the article here. Daily Mail. I'm a relationship expert, and these are 7 things men do care about in a woman. And it's not your job or money. All right. Now, I have no idea why the women of the world today can't listen directly to what men are saying. And men want fit, feminine, friendly, faithful women. Take that intel from the break room and learn the habits of your coworkers. With that info, you have a high degree of success at predicting any bad shit that comes down the pipe. It's amazing what you can learn by just sitting back and shutting the fuck up. You will learn who's banging who and who's doing extracurricular activities with their secretaries or aides. You'll learn who drinks, who smokes, who's using drugs. And if any of these people double-cross you in the future, there's always administrative violence. Anonymous complaints with verifiable, truthful information go a long way to getting shit done. But this is what you're looking for specifically. Women who like to drink or party, or perhaps both. They are far more likely to make false allegations than a woman living a wholesome, boring lifestyle. And the men who do the same shit will gather a bunch of negativity from the very same women. Countless men have been shit-canned because they found themselves in the punishment blast zone. Don't be that guy. And this is why men refuse to mentor women in the workplace, and I can't blame them. Of course, your boss could directly order you to mentor one of these women, and you're thinking it might look good on your resume, but if it's not in your job description, you can respectfully decline. Because once that Bermuda Triangle walks into your office, you're already stuck in the gravity well.
Redonkulas.com Productions presents The Working Man's Survival Guide in the Woke Era. 97 hilarious minutes of job security and risk management designed to help men keep their jobs and their heads in the insane world of office politics. Available on July 4th for $100. Paid supporters on GiveSendBro, Locals, and Subscribestar will save $20. Mark your calendars and go to work.
It's just that simple. We don't really care about their money, their job, anything like that. Now, granted, a woman that works and brings in money is good, but it's not really the top of the pile when guys consider, shacking up with these women. Now, for instance, in my younger days, I dated quite a few women, and I was blue pill thinking back then. A lot of these women were very alpha, feminist kind of chicks, and all I did was bang heads with them, argue with them, and they were defiant. They wouldn't listen to anything I said, even if I approached it rationally with logic. They just want the world to fall into what their emotions at that time, want. That's not how it works. And I've made this joke before. 2 scrotums in any relationship is 1 scrotum too many. And a lot of these feminist chicks, or even the chameleon feminist chicks, they've adopted a lot of the, toxic male attributes. And it's funny how when men are masculine, it's toxic, but when women pick up masculine traits, it is empowering. So which is it? Is it toxic or is it empowering? I would say masculinity is empowering, and the evidence is simply this. Your phone lines, maintained and put up by men. The roads, the buildings, the glass, the police forces, fire department, inventors, what have you. Virtually everything that keeps this civilization humming along is created, protected, and maintained by men. Just let that fact bounce around in your brain pan for a minute. Wow, nothing like drinking whiskey at 10 o'clock in the morning. And I'll probably wash down my blood pressure meds at 2 o'clock with the same shit.
It doesn't seem very safe.
This is matchmaker Luann Ward revealed the 7 things men care about. The list includes being feminine and controlling your emotions. All right, now, a feminine woman who can control her emotions and remain feminine is way more valuable than a woman who allows her emotions to rule over her. That is nothing but a long-term slow beatdown. I highly advise, if you have a woman like that, get rid of her. Okay, so Luann Ward, a relationship expert from Perth, that's somewhere in England, I guess, who has worked with couples for more than 25 years, says men don't choose partners the way women do. What they value isn't what you think. This is basically a flare, a panic flare that they're shooting up. And men have been shooting up these flares since the 80s, and women have ignored them. But now you have a woman, I'm sure she's uber liberal, feminist, piece of crap, firing up a warning flare, and now women are like, oh no. If you were observant and you were paying attention, you would know all this already. But unfortunately, with the school systems and all of the indoctrination going on, you're probably taught what to think, and you never learned how to think for yourself. That's the truth, as I see it. Cry me a river, build a bridge, and get the fornication over it. Whang. All right, so, this is her picture here. I would guess she's somewhere in her 40s. That face has got Botox, has probably been zapped with lasers. And one of the big giveaways is you look at her neck. All right, you can see that her meat flaps are starting to grow up her chest to her chin. Just saying. Men have the same problem, except it's their scrotum because, they got hair on it and stuff. It just is what it is. Okay. So that's what she looks like. Now let's just go through here. Number 1, your ability to be feminine. Okay. Fit feminine. Okay. Now, when I think about a feminine woman, my mind goes to a woman who is, soft-spoken, kind, nice, listens to what you have to say, and if you're wrong, they tell you you're wrong, or if you're right, they just go along with it. But a lot of women will not go along with what a man says. And that instantly negates their femininity. And I can tell you right now, once that happens in a dude's mind, you go from being a permanent prospect to something that you see on the weekends or when you're not busy, or 11 to 2 in the morning, once or twice a month. And after enough time, you just kind of fade away and move on to the next one. All right, number 2, the way you look. Now, she's saying it just isn't about how you look physically, but how you look at yourself. Okay? Now, we've all seen the articles in regards to, basically Western women are fat. And roughly in 1950, a woman between 18 and 22 had a size, I think, was it 5 through 7 dress size. And I know the numbers are weird. I could do a comedy video just on that, but it is what it is. Nowadays, the average dress size is 18. And more often than not, these women graduate high school and outweigh their male peers. Meaning, a lot of guys get out of high school between 17 and 19, and they're about 150 to 170 pounds in the average range. And there are women walking across that stage, a lot of them, who are literally just as heavy, if not more, than their male counterparts. All right? And no matter how much these women complain and whine, bitch and moan, how we should change how we perceive beauty, it's not going to happen, because the beauty standards that men have are programmed into our genetic code and pounded into our thinking meat by the universe. Good luck trying to reverse that. It's going to be nothing but comedy gold watching the avalanche of tears and frustration from these women when they start hitting the wall and after. All right, number 3. Now, this is exceedingly rare in women. Have I come across women that could control their emotions? Yes, I have. But they were exceedingly rare. I think I'm 54 years old, and I can name probably half a dozen that, in my opinion, were calm, rational women. Now, meaning when something happens, they don't instantly fly off the handle and just, go crazy. What they observe, they're calm, they make rational decisions on what to do and how to handle the situation, or when to call in help or not. Men are really, they're observant when it comes to that kind of stuff. And my job here at Redonkulas.com is to pound this into the minds of the young guys out there that an over-emotional woman, it will be nothing but a nightmare in the future. All right, now I know there's the touchy feelings, and the young guys are thinking with their penises. I got it. I've been there myself. But that wears off. 3 years tops, and it wears off. And then you have to surf on the waves of the emotional storms of the woman you've chosen to be with. That is one of the main reasons men, probably a third to half of them, are completely unhappy later on in life in their marriages. Just because of that. It gets old. All right, number 4. Your ability to be supportive. And she says that's exactly how it sounds. Support their goals, support their dreams, support them when they need it. In the past 14 years I've been doing this. I have hundreds of examples of guys who got divorced the minute things got dicey. For instance, I talked to a couple guys, a couple dozen guys, who made career changes in their 30s. And granted, when you switch to a new career, your first 1 to 5 years, you're probably not making top income. And literally within 6 months of making the change, they get hit with divorce papers. Or, a guy gets cancer, he gets divorce papers. Gets hurt on the job, same thing. Laid off, fired. That is the most common one right there. All right, and I've talked to many guys who had legit talents to do great things, and they didn't pursue those opportunities because their significant other at the time said no. Okay, just let that sink in. All right, now I'm going to say this now. A lot of people are going to get pissed off. Punani is not worth sacrificing your purpose, goals, or dreams. It truly isn't. All right, let's move on to the next one. All right. Okay, your sex drive. All right, now we make jokes about this here, about, the blowjob stop after the wife is inoculated with wedding cake. In today's day and age, a lot of women, let's face it, they're already failing the dick stacking test by the time they're in their first or second year of college, meaning they've destroyed their ability to pair bond, and they become, it's the equivalent of somebody chasing a dough pie. That first one is great, and then you spend the rest of your career or up until you die trying to find the next high that equals the first one. What is that called is the women break their oxytocin receptors in their brain pan, meaning for them to get the same, feelings that they did in the beginning, they literally have to keep chasing it to even come near it. And they get bored. All right? They're with a guy for 2 or 3 years. Normally it's right around the 2-year mark where you can see the drop off. And you could tell right there if, she's been ran through in her younger days, and you were the idiot who paid full price for the beat-up VW with the saggy back end, probably burning oil and what have you. I was reading a couple articles that are up to 30% of married men are in basically sexless marriages. Because your birthday on New Year's Eve, we're not counting that. One of the main reasons men get married, at least the way it used to be, they did that so they could lock in exclusive rights to the punani, and in return, she got supported and money and protected and all that other stuff. Well, nowadays, there is no benefit for a man to get married at all. Because quite frankly, she can turn off the sex spigot. And after a couple of years, you look outside the marriage because, men have needs and most men aren't saints. And they get royally crucified for it by being turned into financial slaves many times for decades, if not for the rest of their lives. Okay. Now, she didn't go into a lot of detail on this. Good for her. All right, number 6, your ability to own your own shit. All right, now, this one, from a man's point of view, is not really that important. Though it is a good sounding board if a woman is operating in the real world and she's paying down debt, she's making her payments on times, she's taking care of her lifestyle on her own without, mooching or, funding it with credit cards, which a lot of women do. Pay for their education with student loans and what have you. I advise any dude thinking about inviting a woman into his life on a real world basis, on a long-term situation, whatever that looks like to you, to go find a private investigator, pay him the $200 to $500, have him pull her criminal history and her credit report. All right? And also inquire if her name shows up on any legal situations that took place in court. If this woman filed protection orders against other men, well, guess what? Your future, you're probably going to have one, filed against you. No matter what the sob story is, no matter what they tell you, once a woman has tasted that power, she will wield it against you and use it as a leverage chip to get her way. That's just how it is. And, if women don't own a lot of shit, there's probably a reason for that. And the main reason is one word: lazy. And I would dare to say irresponsible as well. All right, number 7, she says, how kind and caring you are. Okay. This is one thing that stereotypically women used to corner the market on compassion and caring. But in today's day and age, with the amount of male suicide and men drug addicts and men homelessness, it's obvious these women don't give two shits about men. Period. They keep passing laws to give themselves more whatever, and they take more away from dudes. And we're starting to see that with men dropping out of college, dropping out of the workforce, refusing to get married, staying at home playing video games, and taking care of themselves, which I cannot blame them for that at all. It is called self-preservation. It is a logical answer and response to the culture and the situation us men in the West have to live in. Plain and simple. All right, now, I love my grandmother to death, and I miss her every day. She was a kind, caring woman. And she could cook like there was no tomorrow. I remember staying summers at my grandparents' house. And every single day I was at the pool, my grandmother would walk a sandwich out, to the clubhouse, watch me eat it, made sure I stayed out of the water for, I think, 20 or 30 minutes, and then she went back to her house to cook dinner. And, I miss that woman, and I miss those days, because after she passed away, I've never gotten that again from any woman I've ever run into, period. At least not on a permanent basis. Some will do it in the beginning to butter you up and try to open the door to get in there, but don't fall for that crap. All right, let's see. That's the 7 things that, men care about. And then she goes in here to talk about the stuff that men, really don't care about. And she would, she would be pretty accurate on this. But I think I've run on long enough on this particular video. I just find it shameful that we have to have women writing articles that get, international syndication about the same stuff men are saying at the local bar or pub or whatever. It is just mind-boggling that these women can't talk to just ordinary dudes and put this together in their heads. But again, they were taught what to think and not how to think for themselves.